we're going to push as far as we can go.
Eyes on the prize. Now it's do or die. Never running high.
We are in the final weekend of the NBA regular season. A major story we'll be watching. The Sixers announced that Joel Embiid underwent successful surgery for appendicitis on Thursday. Philly sits in the 8th spot in the East with just 2 games left in the regular season. Here's head coach Nick Nurse.
It's a tough blow. I think that the biggest thing right now is that, Joe comes out of the surgery, best as possible, and all that goes well. As far as, that's where most of my thoughts are right now. But I'm the leader of the team. I got to pick the guys up, and they'll understand the situation, and we've got to be professional, and we've got to go try to figure it out the best we can.
The Sixers are most likely going to be in the play-in, which starts as early as Tuesday, depending on what seed they finish it. Ramona, both you and I have dealt with appendicitis, unfortunately. How much time is Joel expected to miss?
I mean, look, they're not going to put a timeline on this yet because it's going to depend on how he comes through this and how his initial recovery goes. But generally speaking, appendicitis and surgeries afterwards, we're talking weeks. This is a couple weeks, whether it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So if you're the Sixers, I don't think you can count on him at all for that play-in game. And maybe if you can get out of the play-in and get into the first round, could he come back? But when I saw this, my thought went back to Joel Embiid's history in the playoffs. I'll never forget 2018. Sixers had a good team, and remember he broke his face for the first time? Broke his face, orbital fracture.
Your whole face.
Concussion. He came back, I think, game 3 of that series. Then there was knee tendonitis, a meniscus, another orbital fracture, another broken face, ligaments. There was a knee sprain in the playoff. I mean, remember the Bell's palsy in 2024? This
he needs
guy,
like a Reiki cleansing something.
I don't know. And it's always this time of year. Like his whole plan is to be healthy for this time of year. And this is a very strange thing to happen. I mean, appendicitis just comes out of nowhere. Yeah. Mine was just one day you wake up like that. And from what I understand, that's what happened to Joel. He just woke up, reported feeling sick. They took him to the hospital, and he had to have emergency surgery.
Awful. And, Perk, this kind of time could really change a lot for the Sixers.
Oh, absolutely. And look, one of the best thing that Adam Silver and the NBA has done was the addition of the play-in tournament. But again, when you talk about the 76ers, in my opinion, they're not going anywhere without Joel Embiid. And it's unfortunate to me when I think about this situation because they had a plan in place. That plan in place was actually working this season for Joel Embiid. We started the season, we watched him at the beginning of the year when he came back in December, I believe it was, and he wasn't dunking. And then all of a sudden, 2 months later, he got his first dunk, then his second dunk. And then all of a sudden, we started to see him be a rim protector and blocking shots and getting up and down the floor. So the plan was working, and all of a sudden you get to this point, it's just bad luck, and I hate it because he's one of the most talented centers this game has ever seen.
Yeah, especially with the type of season he's had and the ramp-up he had up to this point. All right, let's go coast to coast to check in on the rest of a very tight Eastern Conference. And we're starting in Toronto. The Raptors sweep back-to-back games against the Heat and hold the 5 seed. Jurassic Perk was pretty high on these guys earlier in the year. How are you feeling right now, Perk?
I'm feeling great. I mean, look, I picked my Raptors to make the playoffs, and damn it, they're going to make the playoffs. They're well coached. They play agenda-free basketball, and their leader, Scotty Barnes, don't get enough credit for what he brings night in and night out on both ends of the floor.
Now, in Atlanta, the Cavs and Hawks play tonight. Cleveland is resting Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen. If the Hawks win, it could set up a first-round series between those two teams. Ramona, should the Cavs like this matchup?
I mean, I think Atlanta's been on one in the second half of the season. I think it's a dangerous match. But if you're Cleveland, you just got to go through people. You got to get to there healthy. And so you got to rest on James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, and make sure that they're healthy going into that series.
All right, over in Charlotte, the Pistons are in town. Last time they played, it got a little spicy. 4 players were suspended for that game in February. A lot of spicy. This is also a possible first-round playoff series. Perk, you expect cooler heads tonight?
Oh, absolutely not. Look, they're not going to fight, but you better believe that they're going to be competing. I believe Beef Stew is back as well as
Oh, my
Cade.
gosh.
It's going to be some, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be ready to get their feet hot. Not in a fighting way, but an old school 90s physicality, basketball in the trenches type way.
Let's go. That's all we want. Now, the only seed in the East that is 100% confirmed, the Pistons at number 1. Everything else is still in play. The top 4 will be rounded out by Boston, New York, and Cleveland in some order. And then the real chaos happens from 5 to 10. For example, Charlotte could end up in any of those spots. A lot to be decided this weekend. But fortunately, you do not have to wait because we have the Perk-dictions
All right.
right now, Perk. Let's start
You've
with
been
the
waiting
East
for this
play-in.
segment.
What is your crystal ball saying?
Well, it's been a minute, and again, this is why I love Adam Silver. One of the reasons, the addition of the play-in tournament. To me, the playoffs started 2 months ago. Now, I'm going to show you how the East is going to shake out. I got the Hornets and the Magic are going to match up in the play-in tournament.
Okay.
And I have the Hornets beating the Magic because I trust the Hornets and their culture more than I trust the Orlando Magic. So now that puts the Orlando Magic down at the bottom to play the winner out of the 76ers and the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat, they've been struggling. I just don't like their chemistry, their offense, and I understand that's Eric Spoelstra coaching, but I got to go with Tyrese Maxey and Paul George because they've been balling. So you slide them over. Now they got to play the Magic, all right, to see who's going to get that 8th spot in the Eastern Conference. And guess what? I'm actually rolling with the Orlando Magic. I think Paolo Banchero is going to rise to the occasion. The 76ers with no Joel Embiid. And so now all of a sudden you got the Hornets at the 7th seed. We have the Magic at the 8th seed. And now we're ready to rumble.
Oh, all right, Perk. So here's a full playoff bracket. Ramona.
So here we are.
Yeah. Walk us through, Perk.
Oh, you're going to go all the way through.
So now, first round of the Eastern Conference. First round of the Eastern Conference, we're going to have a brawl for it all. We got the Pistons versus the Magic. I can see that series going 5 games. Pistons favoring the Pistons. We have the Cavs and the Raptors. That series will go 7 games. I'm going to give a slight edge to the Cavs. Then we have the Knicks and Hawks. I think the Knicks would get them in 6 games. The Hawks will win 2 in that series. Celtics, Hornets. You talk about some action right there. LaMelo Ball, Con Knipple, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Celtics get them in 6 games. What you think, Ramona?
I like that, although I kind of feel like Cleveland going to play Atlanta. I think that 4 or 5, I think that's going to be Cleveland, Atlanta. And then Knicks, Raptors. I think those 2. I like who you picked to win. But I feel like those 2 series might be different than how they finish this week.